Okay, so let's finish off our guitar neck. We've done some leveling, we've done the fret ends, we've measured it, we've straightened it, and we've done some crowning. So now it's time to actually polish the frets. This is the part that will be time consuming, so you're just gonna have to get over it, and you want this one done really, really, really well. It will make a difference for the life of the guitar, and it will play incredibly well. So what we're gonna need here is we're gonna need some sandpaper for this. We're gonna start with 1000 grit, and then we're gonna do the same with 1200 grit, and then we're gonna do the same with 1500 grit. And by the time we're done, the frets will be so smooth, the guitar will just play like butter. Okay, so take some 1000 grit, and you can see that the paper is labeled as well. And you'll need about 1.5 inches. So we'll just set up a ruler here. Just make a little mark on your 1.5 inches here. And then come on down here, make a little mark on your 1.5 inches down here. And we can just lay our ruler straight. Because the ruler's pretty close to the edge, you can kind of eyeball it too and make sure that you've got it right. Then with an X-Acto knife, just cut it nice and clean. This way you've got a really usable piece of sandpaper. Okay, we don't just tear it, we just cut it, cut what we need, and then set the rest back in the box. Okay, so now that we've got some 1000 grit, you just kind of roll this around your finger. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna cut this in 3 even strips. So it's about 9 inches. So at the 3-inch mark, I'm gonna cut it, and at the 6-inch mark, I'm gonna cut it, because I'll be using these ones. Okay, so now what I can do is I can just wrap it around my finger. So hold the guitar neck in whatever way is most comfortable for you. Now you notice that we've only taped up to here. That was just to save time. You will have taped all the way up to here, okay? Because you want to protect this surface. Okay, so once you're there, then you're just gonna start. And you'll actually feel the fret, you'll actually feel its radius, and you want to try and keep even pressure on that radius. So now when you start to look at the difference, you can see how smooth this is starting to get, okay, compared to this one. Because your fret leveler will leave some pretty deep gouges in here, and that will create a problem for you later. So again, this is the step where you do not scrimp on your time. You spend the time to make sure that you get that fret nicely polished. The other thing that will happen as we're working on our guitar neck is these fret ends, the very, very end part of the fret, it will actually start to feel a little bit sharp. So we have to do what's called a fret end dressing. And for that, we have this tool right here. So I'm just gonna set the guitar neck down. And what you're going to do is you're just going to roll that tool on the end of the fret end like that. And it doesn't require very much. Then you can use your finger to feel if it still has any sharp edges on it. So it's a push and it's a roll. Okay, so I've done this half of the fret, so now I need to do this half of the fret by doing the same thing. Starting on this angle, I push and I roll. I push and I roll. I push and I roll. And then you can feel it with your thumb when you're finished. So this fret here is starting to feel pretty good. It's nice and smooth this way. It's nice and smooth on the fret end. Of course, you would do this end as well. You would, and then once you feel you're good with all of the 1000 grit, so you'll do this fret. You'll go all the way down with the 1000, and then you'll go all the way down with the fret end part, and then you'll grab a piece of 1200 grit sandpaper and do the same thing again. And then you'll grab 1500 grit sandpaper and do it again. And this will look almost like chrome. So make sure you take the time to do this step. To actually finish off the frets themselves, it could take you 4, 5, 6 class periods to get this all done correctly. But take the time to do it, because you'll be glad you did when it plays so well.